A free kick usually follows a smooth mathematical arc, but there is a specific type of strike that ignores normal physics, making it an absolute nightmare for any goalkeeper standing in its path. Players like Cristiano Ronaldo mastered this chaotic technique to bypass solid walls of defenders, and pioneers like Juninho Pernambucano used it to leave some of the world's best goalkeepers completely frozen on their line. This chart shows how a normal curving free kick works. When a player strikes the ball with spin, the rotating surface drags a thin boundary layer of air around with it. This creates high pressure on one side and low pressure on the other, forcing the ball into a smooth, predictable curve. This is known as the Magnus Effect. You can think of this spinning motion like a car tire gripping the asphalt. The spin catches the air, giving the ball the necessary traction to steer itself cleanly into the top corner of the net. A knuckleball requires the exact opposite approach. To achieve it, a striker locks their ankle rigid and hits the ball dead center, striving for absolute zero spin. By killing the rotation, the player removes the steering wheel. The Magnus Effect vanishes entirely, leaving the stationary ball utterly at the mercy of the invisible air currents around it. The moment the ball leaves the boot, it punches through the surrounding air at roughly 60 to 70 miles per hour. This 3D simulation reveals what happens when a ball isn't rotating. It splits the air unevenly. The air flows cleanly over the front, but detaches chaotically at the back, swirling into tiny tornadoes. Fluid dynamics experts call this alternating pattern a Karman Vortex Street. Every time one of these vortices peels off the left side, it shoves the ball slightly to the right. When a vortex snaps off the right, the ball is shoved back to the left. This rapid back and forth lateral pressure is what causes the ball to violently zigzag in midair. It works very much like a large boulder sitting in a fast-flowing river, creating chaotic, alternating whirlpools in the wake immediately behind it. And a football isn't a perfectly smooth sphere. It is covered in stitched or bonded seams. Without the blur of spin to smooth things out, these static grooves act like permanent ramps, constantly snagging the wind and forcing the air to separate unevenly. The combination of these alternating vortices pulling on the stationary seams violently magnifies the lateral forces. The air pressure shifts aggressively from side to side, turning a straight flight path into a frantic, erratic wobble. As the ball approaches the net, its battle with the air enters a final phase. Friction causes the velocity to inevitably drop. This chart tracks the ball's velocity. Notice what happens when the speed drops below a very specific threshold. It triggers an aerodynamic phenomenon known as the drag crisis. The friction pulling against the ball suddenly and drastically skyrockets. At this exact threshold, the airflow hugging the ball instantly shifts from the smooth laminar stream into violently turbulent air. From the perspective of the pitch, this massive spike in aerodynamic resistance acts precisely like an invisible parachute deploying just a few feet away from the goal line. This sudden braking force makes the shot appear to hang suspended in the air before aggressively plummeting downward right beneath the crossbar. Executing this kind of physics-defying strike requires near impossible athletic precision. The striker must deliver maximum power straight through the ball while abruptly stopping their follow-through to prevent even a fraction of a rotation. It forces the goalkeeper into a helpless position. They have to calculate the trajectory of an object reacting to chaotic air currents, rather than the initial intention of the player who kicked it. The attacker themselves cannot predict exactly where the ball will end up. They only know that the erratic lateral shifts and sudden drop will simply be too fast to track. A perfectly executed knuckleball is a calculated gamble. It is the act of delivering immense physical power, only to surrender total control of the outcome to the wind.